Yeah, no, a great road trip. Before we even talk about that Clippers game, I thought we could celebrate the road trip. I want to hear from you, out of those 5 wins. Like,
Yep.
let's rank these 5 wins.
Okay.
Let's just bask in it, enjoy it a little bit. So for me, and you can disagree as I go through this list, for me, the most satisfying win has to be that one in Denver when Nick Nurse went to the mad scientist lineup in the fourth quarter and they were able to come back and win on the road. Second half of a back-to-back, no Fred, started Armani Brooks. That one for me out of these 5 on the road trip was the most impressive for me.
I agree with you. I think because of the fact that they were looking really tired, and then that lineup that Nick went to, which just went on such a great run. I did a whole video about this, about how the Raptors worked to deny the ball from Jokic. He got really frustrated. I love just seeing star players frustrated at the Raptors. I think that was another theme of this whole road trip because you saw Jokic not touching the ball 3-4 possessions in a row. Scotty's picking up from half court. He's like, I'm not even, like, what are you doing? Like, I'm not even touching the ball. Why are you pressing me at half court? But that's Scotty though, right? And you saw Jokic get the offensive foul. You see him like bump him a few times, no calls or whatever, man. Physical play, that's fine with me. But yeah, I agree with you. That Denver win is the top one for me as well.
Yeah, so that's most impressive. Let's just give labels to them. I think most satisfying for me is the win against the Lakers. Just seeing how frustrated LeBron and the team was, and just seeing that first quarter start by the team and just all the performances by the guys. Like, for me, that's the most satisfying. I feel like anytime you get a win against LeBron and the Lakers, who are coming in here tomorrow, I think they should just leave their team at home and just call this one a day.
Listen, man,
Did you see the Lakers-Wolves yesterday?
No, I didn't. I didn't, man.
Did you see any of the trash talking that was going on?
I did see that, yeah. I saw Patrick Beverley call him trash and then, pinch his nose.
Yeah, and then Russ shot an air ball late in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
And Kat grabbed the rebound and literally looked up and was like, who opened the windows?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
really?
So, yeah, there was a lot of back and forth. But, yes, for me, the Lakers win was the most satisfying, even though there were some questionable plays from LeBron, which I know you guys ranked on the Rage Meter. You guys forgot to mention
what's up?
That LeBron has a history of this, like this season. Like, remember when he elbowed Isaiah Stewart? Out of frustration.
That's right. And Isaiah Stewart was about to end his life.
Yeah, and then remember when the Grizzlies were talking a lot of trash and LeBron was saying, hey, let's have some sportsmanship here.
Okay, all right. I love that the Lakers are all about sportsmanship, bro. You guys got LeBron and Westbrook, man. Come on, man. Two very accomplished, top 75 all-time players, future Hall of Famers, no doubt. Great players in this league, but let's be real. These guys also love delighting in other people. And like, come on, man. We're talking about a guy who sipped a beer in a playoff game against us, man. That's why every game against LeBron is satisfying. I think, what's the record now? Since LeBron has gone to the Lakers, he's never beaten the Raptors. This is like 3 seasons in a row now, maybe 4 seasons. Like, it's great. It's great to see. That Lakers team obviously is just really terrible. Hopefully the Raptors don't mess it up on Friday, but really they shouldn't be losing to that team. They just want to go home. And yeah, I love it, man. That, you know what? I agree with you. That was the most satisfying out of all of them. But I got to say, like, the two for me that's hard to rank are Phoenix and the win over the Clippers. Because, like, there were really similar games. Like, two teams, obviously without some of their top guys. No Chris Paul. The Cam Johnson was out. The Clippers, all their guys are out. But, like, they are really mature teams. They're coached well. They compete. They scrapped. And they took the Raptors, coming up with defensive stops in both those wins. And I really do enjoy winning games on defense, because I think that's the calling card for the Raptors. We know the Raptors don't have some sort of incredible last-second shot maker. They don't have a Chris Paul type. They don't have a Kawhi type. But what they do have is the ability to lock you down defensively. And whether it was Precious blocking Marcus Morris at the end of that game yesterday, or in the Phoenix game where Scotty Barnes ends up with 3 steals in the last 2 minutes, including 2 where Fred and Kem Birch trapped aggressively against Booker and forced him into bad passes. Like, I love winning games with that defensive approach, because I think you can take that game to game. Whether you make the shots or not in the crunch time is one thing, but that defense can travel with you. And those two are tied for me. Those two are both really, really well-executed tactical wins.
Yeah, maybe we can call both of them like most encouraging in terms of what we saw, like you mentioned, on the defensive end. I think looking ahead, we're going to get the Cavs out of this top 6. So we don't need to talk about the play-in. So the Raptors are going to be in a proper first-round series. When it comes to the playoffs, when you saw what Scotty and the team did on defense against Phoenix and everything that you just mentioned now with the Clippers, I think that would be the most encouraging signs for moving forward. And that leaves us with the Spurs game, which I guess we can just put in its own category because we didn't get a record set against us. So that's also satisfying in a way. You never want them to pull up the records or pull up the games, and it's the Raptors on the other side.
Yeah, and it was satisfying for me because of the way Scottie took over in that third quarter. Really flipped the energy. I think honestly, Scottie was such a big part of this whole entire run. I think the Clippers game was the one game where Scottie wasn't as involved. Although I thought in the fourth quarter, I mean, he still had a steal leading to the dunk. He still had a 3 at the start of that fourth quarter. Some good plays, but I mean, we're talking about in Denver. He took over in that game. Nearly recorded his first career triple-double. I think 25, 10, and 8 in that game. Phoenix, he was huge with the steals, 5 steals, 2 blocks from a rookie. That's incredible, right? The Lakers game, he comes out 15 points in the first quarter. The Raptors have the win in the first quarter, and that's when Scottie was at his best. And then the Spurs game, third quarter, he flipped it. So, what a road trip, man. And you know what? I was thinking back on this, like, every single season of late where the Raptors have been good, they have had one of these trips where they've gone out west, odds are against them, don't have their full roster, and they come through with something. I was thinking about even right before the pandemic, right before the NBA shut down. What were they doing?
Yeah, they were on the road trip, and I think that they lost the first game, I want to say, in Denver. Yeah. Or they lost their first game, and then they swept the rest of that road trip as well.
Yeah.
And they capped it off with that really satisfying win over the Jazz when, remember, Rudy Gobert was really frustrated.
He was touching on the microphone
at the Raptors.
That's that is forever known as the Rudy Gobert was touching on the microphones game.
You're right. So the Raptors are in the record books for that as well. No, but I think it's a good call, and I think we should try to properly capture the excitement because I do think there is a lot of excitement right now, and I know this Raptors team has kind of put us through the roller coaster a little bit this season. Like us doing a daily show, I almost feel like looking back, like every 2 weeks, we're either talking about how terrible they are and how they need to look ahead to the offseason and rebuild.
This is what fandom is, man. Come on.
No, it is what fandom is.
You just got to embrace it.
Yeah, not to, because, I have a tendency of taking every private conversation we have and making it into content on air. But you were telling me before the show that you want to take a more holistic approach to the way you approach the Raptors and their ups and downs. Yeah. Like what's the story there?
No, I mean, I just want to be like fair to everybody. Like I think these people are human. They're gonna have ups and downs.
Even the refs, right, Will?
Even the refs, even Natalie Sago, who I gotta shout out, my favorite official.
Yeah.
It's funny because like over the course of the game, I saw a lot of players upset at the refs. I thought the Clippers were playing really good defense. That generally frustrates you anyway, and you're gonna complain to somebody. Obviously, Natalie Sago is well known for the fact that Kyle really dislikes her. And, that's fine, whatever, right? But at the end of the game there, giving Fred that call where Terrence Mann was pressing him after he tipped the ball, there was a deflection, a battle for the ball on the sideline. And Mann was pressed up on Fred, but like we've seen that thing go uncalled. Yeah, if that was called against the Raptors, I'd be irate.
Yeah, but it was a great call.
It was a great call.
There were some strange ones at the end. You remember that possession, I think with a minute left when I think it was Precious who scored right at the shot clock as the shot clock expired.
Yep.
I actually didn't know you could just stop the game in the flow of the game and review a possession. I guess you can in the last 2 minutes.
I don't know what you can review and what you fully can't review.
Nobody
I know obviously
knows.
It was for a while there, everything was getting reviewed, and then it got scaled back a lot to the point where it was like, if you have your coach's challenge, you can review, right? But it was reviewed, and the VAR check was complete.
Yeah, that's right.
That play was onside for Precious Achiuwa, man.
Yep, it was onside.